Welcome into an Ultimate Cavs show in studio with my guy, Spencer Davies. Spence is helping us clip today's UCSS. So we said, Spence, coming early. Let's talk a little Cavs beforehand because, frankly, there's nothing going on in the Cavs world right now. We're still a few weeks away from training camp, from media day, from diving into some of these big storylines. But Spence covers the Cavs for basically everybody. If the Cavs are holding an event, Spencer Davies is there. So I said, let's talk some Cavs, let's make up some topics, and have some fun. So how you doing this morning, my man? Welcome to the UCSS set for the first time.
It's a great feeling, man. I'm not going to lie. It sucks that it's raining outside. It's just like this gloomy day, but, you know, I'm more than happy to join you on this show, and obviously been cutting this up for you guys, too, behind the scenes and doing some stuff for UCSS, so it's been cool. You said it. Every Cavs event that there's been, I've been at. Tyrese Proctor doing his stuff, his charity work. He had we had the Max Strus camp before that, and all this stuff that they've been doing over the offseason, keeping a pulse on the team. I think it's been really important just to show your face and be around people, and it's been good to be a part of those. But it's almost time. It's almost time, man. Media Day on September 29th, so can't wait.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to real basketball, real things to talk about via basketball, not what should or should not the Cavs have done in the offseason. We can finally move past that epic collapse they had against Indiana in the second round of the playoffs. So, Spence, we got two topics and maybe time for a third if we go quickly. But we're going to start with this, and you can take this in any direction you want. I didn't want to pigeonhole you to a young player or to a veteran. I said, Spence, you have carte blanche to take this however you want. But the question is simple. Which player on the Cleveland Cavaliers do you think will take the biggest jump from last season to this season?
Honestly, I believe it's going to be DeAndre Hunter for many reasons. One, we know that Max Strus is going to be dealing with his injury, so that opens up a world of possibility, right? Mm-hmm. And two, DeAndre Hunter, he's going to have a whole training camp with the Cavs. They're going to go down to Bradenton, Florida for IMG Academy for the second straight year and have an opportunity to bond a little bit, get to know each other even more, but more specifically with those sets, with those terminologies, all of that stuff I think is going to really help DeAndre on the offensive end of the floor, where we saw he was doing a lot more than we saw in Atlanta. He was putting it on the floor. He was creating his own shots, creating his own threes when he used to just kind of be a standstill shooter, a pump fake, one dribble pull-up guy. He's doing some of the ball handling himself. So I'm interested to see where DeAndre plays this year. Is he going to be the starting three? Is he going to continue coming off the bench? And we know the kind of impact he has defensively just purely on the ground that he covers. So that's a big part of this, I think, for me with DeAndre.
I'm pissed I let him go first because I was convinced he was going to go with Jalen Tyson.
I was thinking about
it. Or take the easy route and go Evan Mobley. And I was going to come out and say, hey, you're missing out. It's DeAndre Hunter for a lot of the reasons.
We think very similarly.
You just went over. I'll give you my answer in a sec, but I had a whole thing on Hunter prepared. So I'm going to do it because it's my show. So we're going to go over the Hunter thing again, Spence. Couple reasons. A, having a full training camp, having a full offseason, having a full year plus now with Kenny Atkinson to be completely involved and ingrained into his offensive and defensive systems is going to help. We saw DeAndre Hunter go from Atlanta to Cleveland at the trade deadline, enters a team that was first already in the Eastern Conference. You're trying not to mess that up when you're the newcomer in that situation. It is less about how do I fit in and more of how do I not ruin the good they already have going. And I thought DeAndre did a pretty solid job of kind of fitting in. But there's so much more to DeAndre's game we didn't see last year on both ends of the court. He came into the league as a defensive stopper, Spence. And the way he was utilized early in his career in Atlanta was to be their primary ball stopper, especially on the perimeter. We saw him match up one-on-one against Tatum and Brown and a lot of the big-name wings in the Eastern Conference early in his career. Then his game transitioned to a more offensive-focused game because of Atlanta's team needs, and we saw him become one of the best isolation, one-on-one scorers off the bench in the NBA. That's why he was a consistent person who was talked about in the Sixth Man of the Year conversations. Cleveland needs some of that stuff, but Cleveland also needs DeAndre Hunter to fit into their motion style, drive, cut, kick, take advantage of the offensive mismatches you create, and continue. It's almost, I thought of this terminology the other day, Spence, it's almost like a domino effect, their offense. They want to put you in a disadvantage and then keep that domino rolling and attacking said disadvantage until they find the right matchup to attack to eventually score. Hunter, if you look at his advanced statistics, he doesn't pass the ball a ton. We saw that last year in Cleveland. That's not what he was brought to Atlanta to do. That's not his strength. He's a scorer by nature, but he's not a big drive and kick guy. The numbers across the league, he was in the bottom 20th percentile in terms of driving kicks in basketball. Is that because he's never been asked to or because he's not capable of? I think it's more he wasn't asked to do that, and now that he knows that's kind of how Cleveland wants to play, he has some built-in chemistry now, some real game minutes, some playoff minutes alongside these guys. We'll see a new version of DeAndre Hunter from an offensive standpoint. And if you add a drive and kick player that has 6'8" height, a 7'3" wingspan, and the ability to score and finish around the rim and shoot threes like DeAndre Hunter, Spence, I mean, pick your poison if you're trying to stop this Cavs team. He's a mismatch by himself. Who are you shading the defense to? I am fascinated to see how DeAndre Hunter slides in. And then just the last thing, he's going to play a lot of the 4. I'm telling you right now, we're going to see a ton of Evan Mobley at the 5, DeAndre Hunter at the 4 lineups. I think that is their best lineup. I think that should be their closing lineup, Spence. So from last year to this year, who's going to take the biggest jump? I'll give you the other answer in a sec, but I think you're right. It's DeAndre Hunter.
So here's the thing that you're talking about that I didn't really think about was, will he be a drive and kick player? I saw him more as an off-ball guy, maybe cutting baseline, maybe cutting just kind of diagonally to make sure that there's space for the drivers on the other side. Second side, third side, all that good stuff. Yep. You're not going to camp him out. That's not what DeAndre Hunter is good at. He's definitely somebody who can, again, spot up, shoot that 3. The thing we don't talk about enough is how high the point of his release is.
It's absurd.
Because he has such long arms.
It's absurd. You can't block it. It's unblockable jump shot.
You can't, because the way that he shoots, too, is he's kind of shielding the ball. It's like such a high point that you cannot really get a piece of it unless you're someone like, Wemby or someone who's 7 foot or taller.
Unless you're
like
a freak of nature.
Exactly.
An alien.
Exactly. And more likely, if you try to do that, you're going to foul him.
Yeah.
So at that point, I look at that. But I never thought of the whole him putting it on the floor and driving and kicking. So that's an interesting side of his game. Maybe that we will see. I saw that more being what Evan Mobley's going to be doing. Maybe not as much driving and kicking, maybe more DHOs, maybe more of your, playmaking from the nail, looking for backdoor cutters and stuff like that. But Kenny Atkinson keeps talking about how he's going to put him in the driver's seat to run this offense. So I could see a couple of those type of play types with Evan Mobley, more than DeAndre Hunter maybe. But I'm interested. I'm interested now that you said that.
He's going to get a lot of opportunities to be the go-to offensive player in certain lineups. And when he is, I think that's when it'll more unlock what he can do off the dribble as opposed to when he fits in alongside the core 4 and Donovan and Evan, where he's playing more off them. So I think it's going to be a mix and match offensive bag for DeAndre Hunter, but I can't wait to see. They went into the second apron for DeAndre Hunter. Like Kobe Altman and company pushed their chips in and said, we think DeAndre Hunter's the missing piece of this core. He's the missing piece of this championship puzzle. We're okay being a second apron team because the player we're bringing in DeAndre Hunter, we believe is that good. So unleash him this year, guys. Let's see the full DeAndre Hunter experience.
They've looked for this guy. They've looked for this 6'8" wing that can play the 3/4 for I don't know how many years. Probably since Lauri Markkanen got traded away for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
That's the last time
since Donovan's been here. Yeah.
And even to that point, Lauri Markkanen was not a traditional player like that. So they've really been missing one of those guys since LeBron James.
Since LeBron, yeah.
So they finally found him. They think that they can really develop him. And again, Kenny Atkinson gets his paws on him just to mold a piece of clay like that. Yeah. And he's coming from a championship program under Virginia with Tony Bennett. He did a really good job when his time with Atlanta in developing, but pushing it to that next level, that next echelon. I don't think enough people believe that DeAndre Hunter has more to him than just being a quote-unquote role player.
Yeah, and I think the most important player to take the jump this year is Evan Mobley. We've talked at length. I've talked at length. So I'm going to give you a curveball here, Spence. The other guy, I think, to answer this question is Sam Merrill.
Ooh.
And it's because Sam Merrill is going to be asked to do things that he wasn't asked to do last year based on the other guards they had in the stable, that when you get paid a contract like he got paid, you better be able to deliver. Now, they paid him 4 years, $36 million. They chose Sam Merrill over Ty Jerome. We've gone back and forth. Was that the right decision? All the reasons why they wanted somebody who they felt more comfortable defensively with. They thought fit better in alongside the core 4. They love Sam's shooting. Even though his three-point percentage was down last year, he's a better shooter than I thought we saw last year. They believe in Sam Merrill. And this is a Mike Lucas trust Kenny Atkinson pick. Because you watch Sam Merrill at Utah State, He was an on-the-ball creator. Since he's got to the league and in the G League, he's been a floor spacer, a guy that comes off down screens, comes off pin downs, has a gravitational pull because of his shooting capacity. Does he have the ability to create in an NBA level? I don't know. But when you pay a guy $9 million before free agency starts, Spence, that tells me the Cavs believe it. I'm going to be in the wait-and-see mode. I want to just see it for myself before I tell you guys, yeah, I do think he can or can't do it. But the contract they gave him tells me that they believe he has more to his offensive game and his defensive game than what we've seen thus far.
He better be able to do it because Max Strus is down, as we just talked about with DeAndre Hunter having that opportunity. Sam Merrill, he was already going to be pegged as that 7th or 8th guy in the rotation. Now he gets moved up a peg, and he's going to have more responsibilities now. I believe that they're going to try to do some more playmaking with him, maybe secondary. Maybe not so much the primary stuff, but coming off of a dribble handoff with Evan Mobley and then finding a cutter off of that, or maybe just advancing the ball up the floor on a fast break or some simple stuff like that that he has not really been asked to do. Like you said, he's been more of the spot-up guy. I thought that he did a pretty good job of getting to the rim last year just off of pump fakes. I think that he also has a little bit more to his game that we haven't seen. And Kenny Atkinson, as you said, he loves him.
Yeah.
That's a big-time thing. And a lot of people that are concerned about the three-point percentage being kind of fluctuating last year. By the way, fluctuating and being the number that it was at, 36, 37%.
Still pretty
is
darn
still
good.
respectable.
Yeah.
He was getting used to having to defend some very good players last year. And that takes a toll on you when you've only been asked to do one or two things on a basketball court in a non-contributing role, I guess, because he's been so far deep into a bench and he only has so many years of NBA experience that now that he's being asked to get above that, to get more into that, okay, I'm going to be playing 20 to 25 minutes a game type of role, that is an adjustment. Playing defense, getting tired, that messes with your jump shot. That messes
100%.
with your offensive game. That messes with your mental. So you have to think about that from an offensive perspective. I thought defensively, again, he stepped up last year. Loved the job he did on Dame Lillard, for example, in Milwaukee. I thought he did a good job standing up and holding his own there. They put him on some big guys. They really put him through the ringer to test him. And I think he did a heck of a job defensively. Offensively, the shots are going to start falling again. I think now that he's going to be conditioned, he's going to know what to expect, and you're going to see an uptick on that percentage from Sam Merrill. And a lot of people questioning how much money he's making. I think that that's also going to motivate him a little bit.
We'll find out. Before we get to our next topic, Spence, we got to remind the good people out there that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. If you guys aren't using FanDuel, you're missing out. NFL season is here, but it's not just football you can bet on. With FanDuel, you can bet on the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, UFC, international soccer, you name it. FanDuel has it, and right now new customers can bet $5 on FanDuel. And if that first $5 bet wins, Spence, you get $300 in bonus bets to use on the FanDuel app. Make sure you head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and sign up today. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, Spence, topic number 2. Another one I gave you free reign to go whatever direction you want. What are you most excited to find out, to learn, to see this upcoming season for the Cavs? It could be an individual player. It can be a team thing. But what's the #1 thing you're looking most forward to this season?
Does it have to be during the season?
Yes, because the obvious answer is, can they reach the finals? So it's
No,
something
well,
to-
it does. It actually has to do with a player
Oh,
in
then
the playoffs.
shoot.
I want to see if a fully healthy Darius Garland can, one, be in the playoffs and be that all-star caliber player in a postseason setting. That's my answer for that. But if you want to go regular season, that's the obvious answer, yes. Can they shed this
No, give me
label?
give me your playoff answer. It's not what I was thinking, so give me your playoff answer.
I'm always going outside the box,
Yeah,
buddy.
I love it. I love it.
But, no, I think, honestly, just to see Darius Garland healthy for more than one series in the playoff. I want to see that. I want to see the Darius Garland that we see pre-All-Star break almost every year, just burying triples, playmaking, doing everything that he can defensively off the ball, where he's playing the safety and he's advancing the ball up the floor and turning the corner and doing the read option play, whether he's going to shoot a floater, or is he going to set up an alley-oop, or is he going to get to the free throw line because now he's not afraid of contact again. I want to see that version of Darius Garland in the playoffs. Unfortunately, because of bad luck, and these are not soft tissue type of injuries that he's had, he has not had the ability to show that. Yeah. Yes, I know his first playoff series against the Knicks did not go well, and that's going to be the one that haunts everybody. But realistically, he has not been himself in the postseason because of the last 2 seasons having everything that he's dealt with off the court, everything that he's dealt with in his foot. It's just awful luck, but he is still in his mid-20s. And I think the world of Darius Garland. I think he is an amazing playmaker. I think he's a really good shooter that needs to be putting up 10, 11 threes a game. Kenny Atkinson has hammered that point home with him. I want to see that in a playoff environment because the whole label, and it kind of has to do with the Cavs and how this team is seen. And I understand why this is what's associated with them, is that they cannot play with these physical, upbeat teams that are getting in your grill, are pushing you to your physical limits. I want to see if Darius Garland is that dude. I want to see if he can do it when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. And I want to see if this team can do it when they are pushed to their backs against the wall.
It's a great answer. Darius has to stay healthy. Unfortunate luck, true or not, the reality is he's been injured in 2 back-to-back postseason series, and he's got to stay healthy because the Cavs need a healthy Darius Garland if they're going to win it all. My answer is simply this, and it's kind of obvious, but I think it's worth at least talking about real quick. The Cavs know what's at stake this season. The entire fan base know what's at stake this season. The Eastern Conference is wide open this season. No Halliburton, no Tatum. It is time for the Cavaliers to put their nuts on a table and say, we are here. And prove that this whole mirage of the core 4 plus DeAndre Hunter, you have the coach of the year, it's all legitimate. Regular season success matters. Postseason success is what counts. There is a difference. And the Cavs have had really good regular season success and not nearly enough postseason success. And when Donovan Mitchell sat up there at the podium, Spence, after they lost Game 5 to the Pacers and said, you guys are going to talk all this ish about us all summer, and it's deserved, right? When your best player says that and then repeats it again at his exit interview, then repeats it again with an interview with Taylor Rooks, when your best player admits that, everyone else on the team has to kind of look from within and say, what can I do? How can I get, and how can I raise the level of my play to a place where that will never happen again? Because frankly, they got embarrassed by the Pacers, right? They're the 1 seed, 64 regular season wins. They beat Indiana. They had struggles with Indiana in the season, but they should have won Game 2, the collapse. How do you respond to getting embarrassed? And I've used this phrase a couple times over the last few weeks in different ways, but sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to see things clearly. And I'm curious how many of these Cavs, which ones, and as a collection of talent, players, coaches, all the organization as a whole, how many of them see things clearly now, Spence? And realize what we did in the past wasn't good enough to win at the highest level, so what do I have to change to get there? That's what I'm most interested in seeing this year.
If last year wasn't that for you, then you probably shouldn't be on the team or competing in an NBA environment. This is pro sports. If you didn't feel the absolute worst that you could last year, after going down that fast, after having the best record in the NBA, I don't know what else you could do for motivation. And I think Max Strus said it too. He's like, talks cheap. The worst part is, honestly, here is that they're going to be missing Max Strus for 3 to 4 months.
And Darius Garland for a little bit.
That's the first test right there.
Yep.
It's the first test right there. I mean, you have to stay healthy. Love that they brought in Lonzo. I think that's a good pickup for them. If he can physically remain healthy and get on the floor, he's obviously not going to be playing back-to-backs. Get to the playoffs and have someone of that caliber who can defend the way he does, but also just have the IQ that he does and the knowledge that he does. I think that's big time. Same with Larry Nance Jr. You're going to see him out there for 15 minutes a night, guys. It's not going to be something like he's coming in as the backup center. They're going to have a rotation between Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and Larry Nance Jr. That's how it's going to go in that front court. I think that also helps from a vocal leader standpoint because Larry's been around the block. He's seen the championship environment, and he's obviously familiar with Cleveland. And I think that helps. It's just a healthy person to have in that locker room. So those additions are big time. But for me, yeah, if you don't see the bottom of the barrel after what happened in 5 games, yeah. I don't. And then going out on your home floor, by the way, let's not forget that. You lose on your home floor.
You lost 5 times to the Pacers at home last year. 5 times. They lost 10 home games all season.
Yep.
Half of them were to Indiana, including the Game 2 collapse, which was inexcusable by all means.
Yeah, and you tell yourself, I got to get conditioned. And, the Kenny Atkinson and his coaching staff, okay, we need to figure out the rotations that work with this. We need to be at least 10, 11 deep because that's what the Pacers went in the playoffs. I know you don't want to go completely model your team after somebody that beat you, but you want to be able to respond to it. I think that that's really important. They have to figure out a way to be conditioned, be mentally ready for it. And this is the same conversation we've had the last couple of years, which is why it's like beating a dead horse. But if they don't do it this year, then you have yourself some questions to ask. Yeah. You have some real questions to ask, which sucks because it's a great group.
It is.
Love this group. It's a very tight-knit team. It is a very talented team that needs to reach its potential. It's time. It's time to get to at least the big stage. Maybe not win the finals the first time you're there, but getting there, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll find out. It's going to be a fun season. Spence, to wrap it up real quick, we have 50 seconds. How many regular season games did the Cavs win this year? Putting you on the spot.
I'm going to go 58.
58? I'm going 54-28 for an overall record. They're going to take some games off in the regular season. I don't think they're going to push it as hard as they did last year. And frankly, it's all about making sure Evan Mobley could be your best player and a guy you can go to in crunch time come the playoffs. That's Spencer Davies. Check him out online. Spence, plug yourself real quick. What is the Twitter handle, Instagram handle, everything above?
Yep, @SpinDavies for both X and Twitter and also on Instagram. And please just follow my work everywhere that I post. I'm going pretty much everywhere right now. But, yes, I would really appreciate the support. And thanks for having me on, Mikey.
Spencer's a good dude. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Ultimate Cavs Show. We'll see you on UCSS in just about 2.5 hours. Spence on McNuggets. Peace.